There is a new head football coach at Northside High School in Fort Smith. School board tonight hired Don Maroki as the next coach. Maroki has 15 years of experience in Division I and II collegiate football. He replaces Felix Curry, who was reassigned after the season ended last fall. Meanwhile, a federal complaint has been filed against the board on behalf of Coach Curry. Complaint alleges a violation of Curry's First and 14th Amendment rights. Says the board violated Coach Curry's rights by denying him a chance to go address the board during a December 16th board meeting last year. School board also appointed Gregory Carthon to fill the position on the board vacated by the resignation of Talisa Richardson in December. Carthon works as the chief civil rights officer for the city of Fort Smith's transit department. He will serve until the May school board elections. As most of the snow and ice has melted off the roads, county road crews have to think about what's next. Potholes. 5 News reporter Lauren Spencer tells us how crews in Benton County deal with these pesky potholes.
I'm of course safely parked right now, but no one wants to see a pothole when driving on the road, and that's why Benton County says it's a priority to get these fixed when the weather is just right.
We're actually able to get to our secondary roads, our dirt and gravel roads, faster than we had anticipated originally.
Most of the county roads in Benton County were clear by Friday, and while warm weather melted most of the ice and the snow on the roads, it left behind problematic potholes.
How long the water and the ice and snow and everything was on the roads, it just happened. So a pothole forms by having a rock underneath the subgrade, for instance, that will freeze during the wintertime and then thaw and expand.
Communications director for Benton County, Melody Kwok, says the catch is they can't fix them just yet.
You need optimal moisture to repair a pothole. So things can't be too wet, they also can't be too dry. So we went out to repair them and cut out those potholes. It could cause an even bigger issue. We've got mud holes, and it could cause, a little tiny pothole could be a tire eater instead.
They say have patience, as hopefully things will be looking much more warm here soon and repairs can begin.
March is right around the corner, so that really kind of starts our pothole season, and it is looking like we're gonna have some good weather starting this week. We just gotta dry out a bit more.
In Benton County, covering news where you live, Lauren Spencer, 5 News.
Fox says if you do see a pothole or have any other road issues, you can call or email to bring it to the county's attention. Prosecutors in Benton County have dropped the case against Dr. Adam Moss, who was accused of sexually assaulting patients. It's part of what's called a nolo pros of the charges, essentially meaning a dismissal of the case. Moss also agreed to relinquish his medical license in Arkansas by April 30th. Benton County prosecuting attorney Brian Sexton says the rulings last week in regards to evidentiary issues had an impact on the case the state was going to present. Sexton tells us that attorneys from their office notified the victims of those rulings, agreed to the importance of Dr. Moss's surrendering his license. Moss was facing 3 counts of second-degree sexual assault in Benton County in connection with a complaint that was filed 3 years ago. He still faces additional charges in Washington County. Police are asking to speak with anybody who knows a Bentonville man facing allegations of child sex crimes. Bentonville police say Andrew Apple was arrested last week. Detectives say it all stems from illegal acts with a child. Police are asking you if you have any encounters with the suspect in this case to call police at the number there at the bottom of your screen, 479-254-2048. It's been about 2 weeks since 95-year-old Belva Day of Mountain Home, Arkansas disappeared, and since then, law enforcement and groups of volunteers all across that part of the state have come together in hopes of bringing her home. Maya Ellison gives us a look inside those efforts.
We know it was her. Sighting with a photograph would have been in Jeep, Arkansas on February 6th.
It was that photo that circulated across social media. That prompted Mountain Home Police to activate a silver alert 3 days later, leading thousands across the natural state to search for 95-year-old Belva Day.
We've had a total of 4 aviation searches for her, 2 state police helicopter flights, a local Baxter County helicopter flight. There's been a fixed-wing flight that was, I think, arranged by the family. We've had state troopers drive all the possible routes, looking off the sides of the roads and ravines.
Investigator Sam Seaman is leading the case in Mountain Home. He says every day since Mrs. Day's disappearance, it has been a mystery.
It's just like she just disappeared into thin air, and that's been the challenge. There are so many possible routes. After Jeep, Arkansas, where she was last seen on the 6th, you just go down the road a few miles and you already have options to turn right, and then you have options further down the road to turn left.
Members of the community have stepped in, going as far as driving a route they believe Mrs. Day could have taken. A Facebook group titled The Search for Mrs. Belvedere currently has 9.3 thousand members, all sharing information of possible sightings and descriptions of her car and license plate.
She has no cell phone. Her vehicle doesn't have OnStar, and she also doesn't have debit or credit cards. So she pays for everything in cash.
That's Lindsay Buick of Chaos Divers. After learning of Mrs. Day's disappearance, she and the team traveled to Batesville near White River.
So with the White River being in between those spots, there is the possibility that Miss Belva could have kind of gotten back around and ended up going back towards Batesville and skirted around the camera options that would have captured her.
Their next 2 stops will be Oil Trough, where they are now, and Newport. Using sonar technology, they hope to check off every box in the search for Mrs. Day.
We're looking for the shadows of her vehicle
and support the community efforts to bring her home.
There are people who don't know her. They're out searching. That's what it's about, is doing the right thing because it's the right thing to do and asking nothing, wanting nothing in return.
That was Maya Ellison reporting. Now here's another look at the car State Police say Day was last seen in. Investigator Seaman says if you think you've seen this car, to take photos for law enforcement to assess their credibility. Today at the state capitol, a bill that could change Arkansas's ballot petition process overcame another major hurdle. The bill would require petition canvassers to inform potential signers that petition fraud is a criminal offense. Supporters of the bill say it would provide awareness and steer away any bad actors from the petition process. Opponents, though, raised questions about the criminal offense, how it would be prosecuted. It passed in the House, but the Senate still needs to sign off on some amendments made in the House. House Speaker Brian Evans took time after the meeting to break down the decision after the back and forth the bill saw in both chambers.
They've been debated. Most all questions were answered prior to today. Was a couple of questions on the House floor, but overall, I think coming into session this afternoon, most everyone knew how they were going to vote.
Senate is also set to debate 2 other petition-related bills tomorrow. Former Arkansas Governor Jim Guy Tucker laid to rest today. Tucker was the 43rd governor of Arkansas and served from 1992 to 96. Under an order from Governor Sarah Sanders, state flags are currently flying at half-staff in his honor. The Vatican says Pope Francis is showing some slight improvement after a health scare over the weekend. The 88-year-old has been hospitalized in Rome for 10 days as he battles pneumonia in both lungs. A statement released by the Vatican today says recent lab tests have come back showing positive results after concerns he may be experiencing kidney failure over the weekend.
He hasn't had any further respiratory crises. He has been able to reduce the amount of oxygen flow when he was using the nasal tubes. They've been able to reduce that.
Pope has also resumed some work activities, including a call today with a parish in Gaza City that he has kept in touch with since the start of the war there.